Hello and welcome to the class activity solution for PetPal's Heroku deployment. In this activity, you will deploy the PetPal's application to Heroku. And this step consists of three main parts. So first, we'll prepare the application with the additional configuration files, the proc file, and a requirements.txt file. And then we're going to create the Heroku application and prepare the Heroku database. So in part one, you need to have all the code in your folder that you want. So make sure that you've done activity 8 and get that code working. I'm going to create a Conda environment for this app. This will import all our dependencies on the app, and this is our playground to run this application. So this is standard syntax to create an environment. So we're going to do conda create PetPal's environment using Python 3.6. So we're going to make sure that we're in the folder, which I am right now, and I'm just going to copy this code. And this may take a while. And then at the end of this, you should get this prompt and just type yes, and it's going to install all these dependencies into this environment. After we install our dependencies, you'll see this line of code. You can activate your environment. So conda activate PetPal's environment, or you can do source activate like we have in the instructions. So I'm going to use what it says in the instructions. I'm going to source activate that environment, and there shows you that your environment is activated over here. Next, we're going to install the Gunicorn with pip install Gunicorn. And this is going to allow us to run the Flask app in our Heroku environment. So this is what we'll do. Copy all 5 of these. Okay, so we have installed all 5 of those dependencies: Gunicorn, Psycob, Flask, SQL Alchemy, and Pandas. Now we're going to initialize the database. We're going to run Python initdb. But now we've initialized the database, and we run this file. If we open this file, we're going to, from the PetPal's folder, we're going to go into the app py file. We're going to import the database. So if we look at this app py file, the database is going to be our SQLite database, and that's shown right here. And from in that file, we're going to, after we initialize the database, we're going to go to the models.py, which is shown here. And we're going to import the pet class, and the pet class will contain our table pets and the defined columns for that specific table. Now we can run the app py file, and so this is what we'll copy this and run this. We're going to run the Flask app, and now we can go to our browser, our local host, and we refresh, and there is our app. We haven't populated anything yet. We can click add pet and hit submit, and there's Buster, and you can add more animals if you like. Now we're going to get all the requirements necessary to render the app on Heroku. So first we need to generate a requirements.txt file. To create that file, we're going to just copy this code here, paste it here. So this pip freeze, make this requirement.txt file, and it's already populated over here. So if we double click, this is everything that the app is going to use. Next, we need to initialize the proc file. That's already been given to you. So this is kind of standard proc file. So this is what you'll write. This Gunicorn is a dependency. This is a folder PetPal's we're using, and we're going to get the app py file and run the app. So this will allow your Heroku server to run the app py file, just like we did in the previous code where we ran the Flask app. So that Gunicorn, it basically is going to do the same thing as this code here. So now we are ready to do part 2, or create the Heroku app. So I've navigated to Heroku. I'm going to create a new app. And all right, I've logged in, and I've already CD'd into my project. I'm going to do git init. That's going to initialize the Git repository. You can go to your app, and this is what you'll type. And that's setting the remote to that repository. I'm going to add everything into that repository. First, commit, and it's created everything. And then I'm going to git push So this is our app, but before we go to that app, we're going to install the Postgres database. So let's navigate to the Heroku webpage, click on resources, the add-ons, just type post, and that should bring up Postgres, and make sure that you've provisioned with a credit card, and you just want to make sure you get the free hobby development, and that'll add the Postgres database. You can look at your database settings by clicking the settings button. And so if we hit settings, this is, if you click reveal configs, so when we run the database URL, so in an app file, this database URL passes an empty string, but this is what it's going to pass in that empty string for that connection. So then we're going to run this last piece of code. So you want to type run and then Python and then init. And that allows Heroku to initialize the database. And once this is initialized, so when you do that, you can go down here and click on this. And there's your pet pals. You can add your pet, hit submit, and there's our pet added to the map. And that concludes the solution to the class activity, Pet Pals with Heroku deployment.